world. My name is Annie Pasquinelli, and I am the creator of The Fearless Nine and the author of Stronger, a Fearless Nine story. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone who has already purchased and read the book. This is definitely a piece of my soul that I'm putting out into the world. I am just so excited that my story is finally out there and people are reading it. Since publishing, I've been around to a couple of different Comic Cons, and the number one thing that I've heard requested of me is that I make an audiobook version so that people can listen along to the book. Now, I grew up with my nose in the books at all times, and I was the one in the corner who would read through a stack this high in just a few hours. I never really got the audiobook thing. But I have quite a few friends who very much enjoy them. Some of them like to listen along while they read. Others like to put it in their ears while they're out on a run. Some of them even put the discs in their car and listen while they're on road trips. Now this I totally don't understand because I get super distracted even just listening to music.
Don't stop believing.
Since I published through Amazon.com, I've found that they actually have another program where you can record your own narration, upload it to their website, and they can make you an audiobook for basically no cost at all. So I figured, why not give it a shot? Because I don't know what I'm doing anyway, like always. So the purpose of this video today is for me to kind of test the waters on my narration skills. So I'm going to record myself narrating a short segment out of the book to get feedback from people who have listened to audiobooks before. People who can tell me if I'm talking too fast, if I'm talking too slow, if I do something that's really unusual for an audiobook, or if I need to rein it back in. It doesn't have any spoilers, so don't worry about that. So if you could put in the comments below any of these thoughts that you have, then I'll get right on the way to making that audiobook for you guys and hopefully get my story out there to even more people. First off, a disclaimer. My setup here is very minimal. I realize that this is not the ideal situation for recording. I mostly just want to focus on my narration. I hope you enjoy. Chapter 17, Marilyn Monroe and Commander Sulu. So, it's been a tough week for both of you, huh? To say the least. Driving rain pounded the windscreen of Kara's borrowed pickup truck, the neglected wipers providing little clearance through the glass. The two were on their way to Haley's apartment. After some collaboration, the women had come up with a grade-winning historical presentation on the development of classic superhero tropes. Though doubtful at first, Haley had since changed her mind. This might actually prove a beneficial area of study for Team Cooper. After the disaster at the hospital, though, she wasn't sure Chris would want to hear anything about superheroing ever again. Is your uncle going to be okay? Yeah, he's not seriously hurt. He just has to take it easy for a few weeks, Haley supplied, rubbing the bridge of her nose drowsily. After she left the shell-shocked Chris in the capable hands of his parents, she'd worried herself into insomnia in her small, empty apartment. Do you really think Chris is going to be up for this? Let's let him decide, Kara asserted, pulling up to a stoplight on 14th Street. Some people can bounce back from that kind of thing after a good night's sleep. Maybe he's... Bzzzt, bzzzt, bzzzt. Haley pulled her phone out of the pocket of her orange and black rain jacket and looked at the screen warily. She was beginning to associate any non-text message with danger. Speak of the hero. She swiped her thumb across the screen. What's up? Are you on your way home? Yeah, Haley responded, already worried. Kara and I are just driving off campus now. Are you coming or what? Can you come pick me up? What? Why? She asked as Kara, listening in, pulled a quick right turn into a parking lot. Can't you just fly over? No, he whined. Didn't you hear the thunder? What does thunder have to do with anything? Geez, Haley, do you have to ask me a million questions? He burst out. Haley heard the anxiety behind his aggravation. Can't you just do what I asked for once? Just once. Haley scoffed. Fine. Where are you? When they cruised up to Milam Hall, they found Chris cowering under the canopy, out of the spray of the rain. Haley's heart twisted in her chest. Was this what their discovery had reduced him to? How were they supposed to get anything done when Cannonball Cooper was a pathetic, whimpering facsimile of his former self? While Kara idled on the curb, Haley swung the passenger door open and backed into the middle seat. When Chris seemed too petrified to even attempt the 10-yard sprint to the vehicle, Haley cried, "Hurry up, you!" I really don't know how to do sound effects, sorry. A rough, painfully close peal of thunder cracked overhead, drowning out Haley's insult and frightening Chris toward the truck, as quickly as if he was the bolt of lightning that had shaken the heavens. He slammed the door as quickly as he could and sighed with relief. "Chris, have a little respect. This isn't my car," Kara snapped as she put the truck in gear again. "Sorry, Kara," he panted, wiping some of the rain off his forehead and into his hair. Haley studied Chris's face with growing concern. His eyes were sunken into purple sockets, the skin pulled tight and sallow on his cheekbones, the stubble on his chin more prominent than usual. He must not have slept at all, or perhaps he'd suffered through the same nightmares that threatened Haley. She felt sympathetic, but that didn't keep her from demanding the truth. "Why are you afraid of thunder?" He groaned heavily. "Aw, Haley, please not now." "Come on, Chris, it's not like we're asking for much here," Kara argued, to Haley's great surprise. "Seriously, it's going to take more energy to fight us than to answer this stupid question." "Fine," Chris shouted. Apparently all their fuses had been shaved to millimeters. "I'm not afraid of thunder. I'm afraid of getting struck by lightning." The silence in the cab, though relative, was piercing. And then Kara and Haley burst out laughing. Chris glowered at them. "It's not funny." "Oh, it's so funny," Kara replied between snorts. Mr. Cannonball Cooper, superhero extraordinaire, is afraid of a little lightning? That's just, I can't even." Haley tried to catch her breath, only to lose it again. "That was just what I needed. Thanks, Chris. That was hilarious. I mean, come on. Kara, did you see the look on his face? Beautiful." They dissolved into laughter again. "This isn't a joke," Chris grumbled, crossing his arms and shrinking down in his seat, which was a considerable feat for a guy with his muscle mass. "Chris, have you ever been struck by lightning?" Kara asked. "Duh," he cried. "One summer when I was a kid, my parents and I took the RV to see the Grand Canyon, but we had to stop for the night in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, so I flew out by myself, and I ended up right in the middle of the biggest thunderstorm I've ever seen. I flew through it like an idiot, and when the lightning hit me, I seized up and fell a couple 1,000 feet to the ground." "You seized up?" Kara asked. Haley's laughter faded. "The electricity didn't have anywhere to go," she explained as she sobered up. "I had no idea what was going on. I was like 12. All I knew was that I was paralyzed, maybe for good. I was going to hit the ground at 100 miles an hour, and I couldn't stop myself." As the truck bumped across the railroad tracks, Kara pointed out, "You were okay though, weren't you?" "But I didn't know it at the time," Chris insisted, still caught up in his anger. "And even if I was okay, I had no control over where I touched down. What if I hit somebody's house or a town? I could have hurt a lot of people like that. That's why I'm never flying in a thunderstorm again." He glared at his sullen reflection in the passenger window. The silence that fell after this statement was less cheerful, but thankfully short. "Sorry, Chris, we didn't." "What are we studying today, anyway?" he grumbled. Kara and Haley exchanged a significant glance. "We were going to take you through some classic superhero issues." "No! Please," Chris moaned, rolling his head back on the headrest and squeezing his eyes shut. "Anything but that. I can't handle it right now, okay? I just can't." The women exchanged another glance, and Haley sighed. "Well, I could show you my new research on Reason Corp." "Ah, no! You know what? Just stop the car, Kara," he interrupted, already unlocking the door and reaching for the handle. "What? But," Kara cried, even as she pulled onto the shoulder of the highway, They weren't even out of sight of Reser Stadium yet. Let me out! The moment the pickup truck squealed to a halt, Chris threw the door open and stepped bravely into the rain. His t-shirt was already peppered with precipitation, but within seconds, he looked like he was standing under a waterfall. He pulled his backpack tight around his shoulders and buckled the special flight-ready straps under his chin and around his waist. "But what about the lightning?" Haley called, raising her voice over the rush of passing cars. Chris shrugged bitterly. "I'll just fly over the storm and hope that works. I'll talk to you guys later. Really, I just can't do this right now." Without even pausing to ensure he was clear of witnesses, he crouched and then jumped straight up, disappearing into the thick, low clouds that pressed in on the Willamette Valley like 1,000 smothering pillows. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I really appreciate it if you could give me any kind of feedback. If you're interested in purchasing the book and reading it for yourself, go to our website at www.fearless9.com, which will be down below in the comments because I don't know how to do actual cool YouTube things like putting it on the screen. I hope you enjoy. Stay super out there. This is probably going to turn out awful, just so everybody knows. Very awful.